Oh, hello. I recently filmed a hair tutorial on my everyday hairstyle, and I was wearing this exact makeup look, which is how I do my makeup every day. Well, not every day because I don't do my makeup every day, but this is my everyday makeup, like when I do my makeup, you know, like my go-to look. Anyways, I was wearing this makeup look in that hair video, and I got a lot of people asking me if I could film this makeup look, so that's exactly what I'm doing today. Today I'm showing you guys how I do my everyday makeup look and all the products I use and all my techniques and everything. This video is very in-depth. It's very thorough. I just went into like all the techniques that I do and really explained them all, so it's a little long because of that, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's just jump right in. As soon as I sat down to film, the garbage truck came, and so it's a little noisy outside. So if you hear the garbage truck in the background, it's the garbage truck. Anyways, my last video I filmed my everyday hair tutorial, which is basically this. And I had my everyday makeup look on. I was wearing my everyday makeup look in that video, and I got a lot of requests to film my everyday makeup because you guys liked the way my makeup looked that day. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. To make my life easier, I'm going to clip my hair out of the way. I like these little clips. I think I got these at Target, but they're nice because they don't crease your hair. That's why they have like this flat plastic thing, so it won't crease your hair, which is nice. Okay, so I always start with brows, and I've gone back to doing soap brows recently, and my brows are just like amazing. I don't know why I ever stopped doing soap brows, but this is the soap that I use. This is the Shea Moisture Coconut and Cactus Water Quench and Refresh Bar Soap with Blue Agave for dehydrated skin. I just grabbed this one because it was like the only clear soap that was at CVS at the time. I've literally had this for like 3 years, which is kind of embarrassing because it's kind of like ratchet, but whatever, it still works. I think this one works fine for your brows. Basically you're just supposed to get like a clear bar soap if you want to do soap brows. And then I always take a setting spray. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just using the Photo Finish So Chill Coconut Primer Water from Smashbox. You can use any setting spray. You can even use water, but this is just easier, and I spray it on my soap. Just like 2 little sprays, and then I take a spoolie, a clean spoolie, and I just start mixing that around on the soap till you get like a little paste. You see that? And then that paste, let me get a mirror. Where'd my mirror go? Then you're going to take that paste, and first I just coat all my brow hairs. So I brush the paste through my hair in the direction that the hair grows, and then I'll go against the grain, I guess, like this, just to make sure I really get that soap in there. And they're looking a little crazy right now, but then I just brush through them, and I have a little too much of that soap on my spoolie because it's like leaving a residue. Let me show you. Let me zoom you in. So you want to be careful that you don't use too much soap because it will leave like a residue. Can you see that? But because it's clear, it should dry clear, but still you want to be careful how much you get in your brow. Okay, and then I just brush the brow hairs in the direction that I want them to stay, and like immediately my eyebrows look like way fuller, way fluffier than they do without the soap. And you can kind of just like push them around. I went ahead and went like this, and then it kind of just shapes the tail for me if I want it a little more outwards. And then I'll take the like stick, even though, see how this one's like bumpy? I want a smooth one, so let me get a smooth one. I'll just use a makeup brush. So I take just like the stick end and just like push them down to my face after I've brushed them in the direction that I want them to stay. And then you can kind of go back and fix any parts if you need to. It's what I'm doing right now. And your brows are literally gonna stay like this all day. So look at that. Doesn't that look good already? That's just with soap. There's no other brow products in my brow. This is the brow that I did soap brows on, and then this one I haven't done yet. It's just like a huge difference. So let me do my other brow and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so I've got both my brows done. Now what I do is I take some concealer and a flat little concealer brush like this. And I'm using the Urban Decay Stay Naked concealer in the shade 20 CP, but obviously like use whatever concealer you want. I just like this one. I take a tiny amount on my brush, like a really tiny amount. You don't want that much. This might even be too much. Okay, and then using a really, really, really light hand, can you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm gonna lightly like carve out my brow, basically like shaping it with the concealer. And I do have, can you see this dark area? Probably not, because I just covered it. So you can kind of see the tail of it right there. I do have existing microblading, which I do like, but I don't like the shape anymore because the tails, the microbladed tail end of my eyebrow like goes down too much, and I prefer like a straighter brow now because I like that it lifts my face a little bit. So I'm just covering that old microblading also. Just a little bit. I'm not doing this super heavy. As you can see, it looks very soft. And then I'm really gonna just blend it out. I like the way carved out brows look, but not when it's super dramatic. You know what I mean? You know how we were doing like super dramatic carved out brows for a while? Like, I still like that look, but like softened. And you can get like a soft carve if you use like very little product. Just use light product, not a lot. I forgot to mention too that before you do the concealer, you do want to take like a little makeup wipe and just wipe around the brow to get any soap residue off of your skin, which I already did. I just forgot to show and mention that. But anyways, now that I've got my brows carved out with some concealer, kind of just cleaned up, carved out, whatever you want to call it, then, I mean, really, like, I don't need to fill them, but if you could see like at the bottom part of my brow, like there's a little bit of sparseness. Same with on this side right here. I'll just take my brow blade from Urban Decay, and I like to use the ink stain side. It comes with a pencil also. I never use the pencil. I'm sure it's great, but I just use the little ink stain because I love it. And I'll just lightly fill in that sparse kind of like bald area. Really lightly. You don't want to do it too heavy or too dark because then your eyebrows can end up looking too intense. But see how they look? Just really kind of natural and fluffy and nice. And they're going to stay in place all day because of that soap. And I'm using the shade Taupe Trap. Even though my eyebrow hair is kind of on the darker side, I like to use a lighter product because, like I said, when I use a darker brow product, my eyebrows can look too intense. You know, like too blocky, too heavy, too intense. I end up looking a little angry. So, yeah, I'm using the Taupe Trap, which is kind of like a blonde, ashy blonde color, but I like it. And it works for my brows. Okay, so brows are done. Let's move on. I'm going to take the same concealer, the one that I used to carve out my brows. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my eyelids. And this is going to be like an eyeshadow base. And then I'm going to take my Morphe E8 brush, which I love for concealer. And I'm just going to blend the concealer out all over my eyelid. And this just makes a really nice base for your eyeshadow. Kind of like an eyeshadow primer, but it's concealer, but like same thing. I prefer concealer instead of eyeshadow primer. I have yet to find a good eyeshadow primer. Concealer works just as good. Damn, my brows be looking good. Okay. So, for my everyday makeup, I always use bronzer for my eyeshadow. And I like to use this giant fluffy brush, this giant fluffy eyeshadow brush. It's from Morphe. It's the M510 brush. It's huge. Like, it's like the same size as my, like, whole eyelid. I just dip that in my bronzer, tap it out, and then, oh yeah, this bronzer is deep bronzer. I think it's the darkest one. And Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer is kind of expensive. I think it was like 14 bucks at Target. You don't have to use that one. I just like to use bronzer. You can use any bronzer. Anyways, and then I just take this and start blending it all over my eyelid. The reason why I like this big fluffy brush is because it like effortlessly blends out your eyeshadow. especially if you're doing like an all over shade. Obviously if you're doing like an intricate eye look and you need precision, like this is not the brush for you, but if you're just doing like an all over eyelid shade, this is the perfect brush. It blends so easy. This would be a good beginner brush in my opinion, because you can kind of be sloppy but it's still gonna blend really nicely. And obviously I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done, but I just blend this bronzer all over my eyelid. Essentially I'm like contouring my eyelid but also using this as an eyeshadow, and you see me bringing it all the way over here. I do that on purpose because same with my eyebrows, I like to create like a lifted look because I have very round eyes, if you can't tell, and they kind of almost droop down a little bit. They're just so round, you know, and I rather have like that almond cat eye shape, but I don't, so I have to fake it. So I bring my eyeshadow up and out, and it's kind of like contouring my eyes, giving me a lifted look. You'll see in the end, but don't be afraid to bring your shadow out and up if you want like a lifted look. Okay, so my eyeshadow's all blended. As you can see, it's like a really nice blend. Swear it's this brush. It's so good. It's so easy to use. Definitely recommend using this huge fluffy brush, but this is how I do my eyes for my everyday makeup. Sometimes, especially lately, let me find the palette. Where's the palette? So recently I've been using this palette also, this Going Coconuts palette from ColourPop. It's kind of blown out because of the lighting, but look how pretty it is. And the other day I took this shade right here called Culotta, and I took it on a fluffy brush that is significantly smaller than the one I just used. Let me put them side by side, a lot smaller. But I take this, and this eyeshadow shade is a tiny bit darker than this bronzer, and I just place it in the outer corner of my eyelid. This is not something I always do, not necessary, but I just want to deepen this specific outer corner area just a little bit, okay? Just a tiny bit, not much. It's barely noticeable, but I just wanted to like contour that crease a little bit. Just to give my eye a little bit of depth is what I'm doing. So just really lightly kind of contouring this outer corner crease. An eyeshadow that's slightly darker than that bronzer. Nothing crazy. That's it. And then I always do my eyes first when I'm doing my makeup. So now I'm going to take my eyelash curler. For a while I was getting a lash lift, and the last one I got was just super crazy, and so I've been letting my natural lashes grow out, and they're straight naturally, so that's why I'm using an eyelash curler now. I do like the lash lift, but I was also using Latisse, so my eyelashes were super long, and then when I got them lifted, they were like so lifted. They're just like way too lifted, like way too curled. They were like curled in a full circle, okay, and they were like touching my eyelid, and I couldn't even really wear mascara because they were just like literally curled like all the way back. It was crazy. It was really crazy. I think that the lash lift was a little too like strong because I don't know. I don't even know. I like lash lifts, but the last one I did was just like a little too intense for me, so I decided to give my lashes a break and just go natural for a while. I haven't even been using the Latisse either. I'm just like back to natural lashes, even though I do like the Latisse, but I'm gonna let my lashes chill for a little bit, my natural ones, and then maybe I'll start the Latisse again. But anyways, after I curl my lashes, I just do a really thin coat of mascara, very thin and focused at the base of the lashes. I like to do this before applying false lashes because I feel like the false lashes, the adhesive adheres better when I have a tiny bit of mascara on. I feel like when my lashes are naked or have a little bit of eyeshadow residue, they're too slippery. So I just feel like doing a little bit of mascara just kind of coats my natural lashes and helps my false lashes stick on a little bit better. Okay, now my favorite part, lashes. I get a lot of questions about how I apply my natural lashes. I mean my natural, oh my god, my fake lashes. So I cut my lashes, okay? I use lash strips, and this is a lash strip. This is half of a lash strip, okay? Or maybe like 2/3 of a lash strip. So I cut off the last third of my lash strip, so I end up with this little mini lash, okay? And then let me put some glue on it. I haven't worn a full lash strip in years. It's not comfortable. I don't like the way it looks. I feel like it looks too heavy. Ever since I started doing my lashes this way, I just prefer it, and I haven't gone back since. And a full lash strip can be so uncomfortable sometimes. You know when it's like poking your inner corner and it like bugs you all day and it's just poking you all day? If you do your lashes the way I'm doing them right now, you won't ever have that problem ever again, and I'll show you why. I like to use tapered lashes, by the way, so the lashes that are shorter in the front, in the inner corner, and then they taper out and get longer towards the outer corner of the eye. I like to use those. Remember, you always cut off the end, not the front of the lash strip. You always cut off the last third of the lash strip so that you can keep the shorter end, because it's going to help your lashes blend. It's going to help the lash strip blend better with your natural lashes. So I always apply the lashes to the outer portion of my eye. So from like the middle of my eye is where the lash strip starts, and it goes out to the outer corner. So this whole like inner half of my eyelid or lash line has no lash strip on it, okay? And see, obviously it's not blended yet, but I just set it down. I placed it where I want it. Sometimes you might have to move it around a little just to make sure that it blends with your lashes. Can you see that? Let me see. Yeah, can you see? So the lash strip starts like in the middle of my eye right here, and then it just goes out, and there's nothing in the inner corner. And then if I'm really getting into detail about how I apply my lashes, the reason why I like to do my eye look before I put on any foundation is because when I'm applying my lashes, I'll pull my face like this, so I'm touching my face, and if I have foundation on when I'm doing this, obviously it's gonna like mess up my foundation right here. So I pull my lid down like this just to like see the top of the lash strip and make sure that it's like flush against my eyelid so that it looks super blended. Can you see how blended that looks? Looks very blended. And once you get your placement where you want it, see how natural that looks? Watch, but it's gonna get better. Then I take these like lash tweezers. Mine are a little dirty. These are from Velour, which I have a coupon code for you guys if you want to get these or any lashes. I take my little lash tweezers. Let me clean them off. And you want to do this after you've got your lash strip placed where you want it, like exactly where you want it. And then I just take these tweezers and I squeeze the lash strip down to my natural lashes. Can you see? I'm just squeezing it, and that's how it looks. Can you see? See how like natural that looks? And then this is the lash from the front. So have lashes on this eye, no lashes on this eye. Super comfortable. I feel like it looks way more natural. I love how it's like tapered. It gives me that like cat eye look. Just the best way to apply lashes. I hope that made sense. I'm gonna apply the other side and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so I've got both my lashes on now, and I just realized I didn't even tell you what brand of lashes I'm wearing. I honestly don't know what style these ones are. I think these ones are from House of Lashes. But look, I literally, because I reuse my lashes, I literally have a little box of lashes. So like I just grab from here and I clean them off, because lashes are reusable, by the way. If you take care of them. So I don't remember what style these ones are, but I'm 100% sure that these are from House of Lashes, because I could just tell. I can tell which lashes are from House of Lashes because that's my favorite brand. I'm thinking that these are probably Iconic Lites. I think they're Iconic Lites. That's what I think they are, because those are like my favorite ones, and I use those often. Like the majority of the lashes in that little pile are House of Lashes Iconic Lites, and I cut them like I mentioned, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will recommend House of Lashes Iconic Light lashes. Those are perfect for this technique, and they're just like the best lashes ever. I love House of Lashes. Velour also has great lashes and really good lash tools, but I'm pretty sure these are Iconic Lights. But really, you can use any tapered lash. So if you have a different lash or you want to use a more dramatic lash, this looks really nice with dramatic lashes too. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but the tapered ones, that is important, that the lash is tapered. So there's that. And then what I do after I have my lashes on, I already did it on this eye. It's very subtle. I don't even know if you could tell, but I will take a liquid liner. This one is from Tarte. This is the Sex Kitten liquid liner. I didn't buy this. This came in like a BoxyCharm or something like that. I don't really remember where this came, but it's cute. It has like a little cat at the top. And I feel like this is a really, really good liquid liner. Since I have hooded eyes, when I do liquid liner, because my eyelids are hooded, it like heats up the liner and then it always transfers to like the upper part of my eyelid, which sucks. But this one I found doesn't do that. I feel like this one wears really well, and it's just a really nice formula. So if you're in the market for like a really good liquid liner, I would recommend this one from Tarte. But what I do, this is going to be really hard to show you. What I do is I take the liquid liner and I don't do a wing, okay? I'm just lining, you even see what I'm doing? Yeah. I'm just lining my lash line, a really thin line. Can you see that? And it just blends that false lash even more. It kind of takes away any like white glue that you can see. This is really hard to do with one hand. But basically I'm just doing a really thin line, and that just blends the natural lash with the lash band and also makes it just slightly more dramatic, but it's so subtle. It doesn't look like I have a wing. It doesn't look like a thick liner on. It's just really, really subtle, and that's because I just do a really, really thin line, and it's basically just to blend the lash band with my natural lashes. And that's what my eye makeup looks like for my everyday makeup with my lashes and my little bit of eyeliner. I'm gonna move on to the rest of my face and then we'll come back to the eyes. You'll see why. But let me zoom you out. So this is exactly how I do my everyday makeup, in this exact order with all of these exact products and this exact routine. I just had like a big brain fart. I don't know why. Anyways, I just got my hair done yesterday. If you saw my last video on my everyday hair style, then you notice that my roots were super dark. They still are, obviously, but we blended a little like baby lights just to kind of blend the blonde so it wasn't such a harsh line, because I do like the roots. I like the rooted look. With the money piece, we also toned the money piece a little bit, a little more like beige instead of like icy, and it looks way better. I love it. It just kind of softened the look a little bit but kept that like money piece, the bold money piece, but just a little softer. Anyways, that was a side note. So let's go to the face. Let's go. I'm gonna grab this concealer again. Obviously this is like my favorite concealer. I do recommend, even though it's kind of expensive. I think it's like 30 bucks, but it is good. So I'm just gonna take the concealer and place it here, and then I place it up here and there. And then, ew, do you see this? I popped this morning. It was like a big whitehead. It was like one of those blemishes that you just have to pop because it's like disgusting. So I'm gonna cover that bad boy up. Hopefully he goes away soon. And then I have a little bit of, I think this is perioral dermatitis, which I probably shouldn't be wearing makeup, but I've literally had this for months and it's not going away, so I'm going to cover it. I should probably go to the dermatologist, but I'm just going to cover up my blemishes. Now I look like Hulk Hogan. I look like I have his mustache. And then I'm going to blend it out with the same concealer brush that I used for my eyeshadow. I don't like heavy concealer, but I like the way my eyes look when I conceal. Kind of gets rid of my bags. And then this little guy over here kind of contours. You know how I did my eyeshadow in like an upward? This just kind of cleans up, cuts, contours that area, and furthermore gives me that lifted eye look. You see what I did there? So that's why I place the concealer there, and I blend it in a way where it does have kind of a harsh line, because eventually that'll get blended out when I do my foundation. But that is there on purpose, purposely placed in an upward position. I'm really going full on in depth with this everyday makeup tutorial, but I did get a lot of people telling me that I need to stop chit-chatting about random stuff and start explaining technique, so that is what I'm doing, you guys. I hope you guys like this. And you know, I learned how to do my makeup from watching YouTube videos. That's exactly how I learned how to do my makeup. I was determined when I was younger that I was going to do good makeup, and so I watched tutorial after tutorial and perfected my techniques, and now I would say I'm pretty damn good at doing makeup. And I don't freelance makeup. I'm not a makeup artist like that. I would consider myself a makeup artist, but I don't like freelance. I just do it on myself and my friends sometimes, but I don't like do it for weddings or anything, so sorry you can't hire me, but I can teach you this way. Blending out this. Ew. Okay, and now that I've got that concealer all blended out all over my face, also, I used to do foundation and then concealer on top of my foundation, but now I prefer to do concealer first and then foundation. If you haven't tried it that way, definitely try it. And I'm gonna go in with some foundation now. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. I think they sent me one and it was too light, and then I bought one and it was too dark. So now I mix them, shake them up really good. So the dark one that I use is 41 NN and the light one that I use is 31 NN. These are a little expensive too, but I do think that they're very good. And I just apply like a pea-size amount of the light one, basically equal parts. This might even be a little bit too much. And then a little pea-size amount of the dark one. And I apply it directly to my face because I feel like when you apply it to a sponge or a brush, I use a brush by the way, but I feel like when you apply it to like here, it just seeps into the brush. When you apply it to your face, you get like the maximum usage, you know? So I mix this around on my skin first to mix it up, kind of like a paint palette. And then it turns into this nice beige color, which is pretty close. I mean, it's not exact, but it's pretty close. But remember, I have concealer on my skin, so it makes my skin look lighter than it is naturally. Am I drooling or is that makeup? Oh, it's makeup. And then I just blend it out all over my face. And I love to use a big fluffy brush when applying my foundation. I just kind of the same concept of the big fluffy eyeshadow brush. It gives a really soft blended look effortlessly, and you cover a lot of ground because it's a big fluffy brush. This one is from Royal Langnickel, by the way, but you can use any big fluffy brush that you like. I just use this one because I have this one and I prefer it, but it's just like less work. Like you blend out the foundation so much quicker, and I love the result. It's just a nice effect. It always looks very soft, almost airbrushed. But every time I use a big fluffy brush to blend out my liquid foundation, people are like, oh my god, what are you doing? They're like so shocked. But seriously, don't knock it till you try it. This is literally the only way I apply my foundation. I have a drawer full of beauty blenders and I haven't touched them in like years. I do like beauty blenders though. I just prefer the brush because it's so much quicker and it just looks so nice. This is where my makeup starts coming together. I do have a fake tan, so my foundation actually blends pretty nicely with my skin tone right now, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to set my under eye area with this setting powder. This is the best setting powder. It's a drugstore powder. It's so good. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I use the shade 10, which is Fair Light. I think it's the lightest shade. I love this setting powder, and I'm just going to apply it with this little setting brush from Real Techniques. There's not that much product in the lid, but there's enough. I don't bake. I used to. I don't do that anymore. I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. But if you like to do that, then like do that. But I just take a very, very small amount on my brush, tap it out, and then lightly set my under eye area. Look at that. This makes my skin look filtered. Seriously, it like smooths out my skin and just makes it look so good. And less is more, because I feel like when you use too much it can look a little heavy or cakey or dry, you know what I'm talking about? That's why I just use a little bit, and then I'm literally like stamping it on. I'm not rubbing or blending, I'm just stamping it and focusing it under my eye and kind of all over my cheek because I have large pores here. And then obviously doing the same thing on this side, in the same area, just stamping. I will do my entire nose because I feel like foundation tends to like slide around on my nose. I don't know why, but it does. Probably because my nose is so oily and I have large pores. So just stamping this all over my cheek and nose area, basically where I have the largest pores, and then setting that concealer as well. Sometimes I'll take like a little down here on my chin, maybe right here where I get a little oily. That's it. Sometimes, like definitely in summer, I'll set my whole face with this, just like super lightly, and I feel like it helps my makeup last all day after I set my face. Sometimes I'll set my face with the setting powder after I bronze and highlight and blush, but sometimes I'll do it before. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference, except for if you do it after you apply bronzer and highlight and blush, it can diffuse a little bit, so it can like lessen the intensity of your blush and bronzer, which could either be good or bad. I don't know, but sometimes I set my face last and sometimes I set it before I bronze and blush like I'm about to do. So now let's go in with this palette. This is from Benefit Cosmetics. They just sent this to me not too long ago. But I like this because it has a Hoola bronzer in it, which I've been using for years. It also has this Honeymoon blush, which is a really nice blush. It has the Georgia Peach. It's kind of like a shimmery blush. And then it has this cookie highlighter as well, which these are all things that I use separately, like Hoola bronzer. I don't know where the cookie blush is, but like, you know, these are all products that I use separately, so it's nice that they came in this palette. So I'm going to use this to bronze. Because sometimes I will use Hoola bronzer, sometimes I'll use the Physicians Formula that I used on my eyelids. Just whatever bronzer you prefer. But today I'm using the Hoola bronzer to bronze. And I'm also using the Hoola bronzer bronzing brush, which is what I use for all of my bronzer except cream. So this is a really good bronzing brush if you are looking for one. It's like a domed fluffy brush. So when I bronze, I apply it. So I used to apply it down here in the hollows of my cheek, but I recently started bronzing a little higher up here, kind of on my cheekbone, because I saw a TikTok of this girl who was showing the difference. And when you bronze just above the hollows of your cheek, it gives a lifted look. It does. It makes you look more lifted. So I prefer bronzing that way. So I apply my bronzer high up here, and this is where I bronze. So it's right above the hollows of my cheek, and I do feel like it gives a much more lifted look. You know, it's all about preference, and obviously everyone's face shape is different, so you might not bronze exactly where I bronze, but this is how I do it, okay? This is how I do it. And I like to apply it pretty light now. For a while I was doing it pretty heavy, but if you apply your bronzer too heavy, it could look muddy or even like you have dirt on your face, so you want to be careful. And I'm going to do the other side. And I'm using like windshield wiper motions and kind of going in little circles also, but quickly. And I have a pretty light hand, so I'm not pressing heavy, just using a light hand. And that kind of warms up my face and gives me a little bit of a sculpted look. I have a big forehead, so I will also contour and bronze up here along my forehead just to calm her down a little bit, but also bring some color and warmth to my face. You know, I want to be tan all over, so I feel like this helps you look a little tan. Now I have to be careful that I don't get it in my blonde money piece. And then I will also go in with the bronzer, and I contour my nose a little bit. I don't do it all crazy like some girls do, because I just like don't know how. Every time I've tried that, it never looks good on my nose. I think because my nose is like weird shape. It's like I have like the bridge of my nose is fine and slim, but the tip of my nose is so round. I'm gonna say the word, and I've said it in a few other videos, but I refer to the tip of my nose as bulbous because I feel like that's the only way to describe it, even though I hate that word because it sounds gross. So anyways, I feel like the tip of my nose is very bulbous, so I just put a little bit of bronzer right here on each side just to slim her down a little bit because she is bulbous. So I just bronze right there a little bit. That's it. And then a little bit under my nose too, hoping to create like a perkier effect, but I don't do it too heavy. But I do feel like in pictures especially, it just kind of slims her down a little bit. So that's what I do. And then whatever is left on the brush, I'll drag it along my chin to kind of contour my chin a little bit because I have a weak chin. I really do. I'm not that happy with my side profile. I was talking to my mom yesterday about maybe getting Kybella, and I also do get chin filler sometimes, which I haven't had it in a while, but I have a weak chin, so that's why I contour my chin. Just create like a little shadow. You don't want to do this too heavy because you don't want to have that like grandma line here, you know? And you want to blend a lot. But I just like to create a little shadow just to define my jawline a little bit, see? And then I will drag it down just to blend with the rest of my makeup. And sometimes if I feel like this eyeshadow contour has lost like intensity, I'll go back in and like re-bronze this area. I don't really feel like I need that today, but I just wanted to mention that. And the way that I'm doing my face makeup is pretty much universal to every makeup look. Every time I do my makeup, I generally do it the same. Not my eyes, but my face. So moving on, I hope you guys are still here and watching. If you're still here, let me know in the comment section, because I know this is going on. This is going on forever, but I wanted to be very thorough and give you guys every single detail so you guys know how I do it. So I'm going to go back into this little palette. I'm going to take the highlighting shade. I stopped using highlighter for a while, but recently I've been liking it again. And I'm using this fluffy like highlighting brush. This one is from the Bretman Rock Wet n Wild collection. They sent this to me, but it's a really nice highlighting brush, and I'm going to apply a little bit of highlighter very lightly, even though it's pretty intense, to my cheekbones. I kind of like the way it looks a little bit underneath my eyes as well. Just kind of like brightens up that area. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Keep in mind that highlight accentuates texture. So if you have very textured skin, or you don't want your textured skin to show through, which obviously we all have textured skin, but I just mean some people's skin is more textured than others. Just keep in mind that highlight does accentuate texture, but obviously like from afar, like you can't tell. And then I'll take a little bit up here in the middle of my forehead, just highlighting all the areas that the sun would hit if I was like in the sun. Then I will also highlight down the bridge of my nose, but I kind of keep it like up here, so just like right in between. And then I'll take a little highlight on my finger. It's a little too much, and I will, can you see what I'm doing? I'll just put a little bit on the tip of my nose, again hoping that it creates like a little like lifted effect. I don't know, whatever. And then I'll take a little on my chin sometimes too, just to kind of accentuate my chin, bring it out, pull her out. And sometimes my cupid bow area too, to accentuate my lips. See, it just kind of highlights a little bit. And you know what? I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to take a little bit of highlight on this big eyeshadow brush. I should probably use a smaller one, but I'm going to apply it to like the underneath the arch of my brow. See how it just kind of brightens that a little bit? Kind of makes my eye pop. I like to highlight that area too, which is already highlighted because of that concealer that I used earlier, but this just makes it pop a little bit more. So that's how I apply my highlighter. Now let's go in with some blush. I'm going to use the same blush from the palette right here. And I'm taking another domed brush. This is very similar. I'll put them side by side. It's very similar to the Benefit one. Okay, it really is. Except this one is from Real Techniques, and I use this one for blush. So I'm going to take some blush from the palette. Kind of a lot. I like a lot of blush. I like to apply my blush in this same area over here, and I do put it over my highlight. That's why I like to highlight first, because it just kind of like softens that highlight a little bit. And I like to highlight or blush this area. I used to put blush like right here in the center on the apples of my cheeks, and I would like smile and apply it in this area, but I've liked to put it here because it just gives a different effect, again with that like lifted effect. I think this is the same location that like Kylie Jenner applies her blush. I'm not sure. I've seen so many different videos about like blush placement. Someone was explaining the different areas for blush and like the different effects it gives. What did he say? He said it just creates a different fantasy, like whether you apply it here or on the apples of your cheeks, or some girls apply it like across their nose to give kind of like a sun-kissed look, which all looks super cute. It just really depends like what fantasy you're going for, I guess. But this is the one I'm going for. I literally apply it here, even like right underneath my eye here. Like I just like the way this looks. And I also feel like blush loses its intensity throughout the day, so don't be afraid to apply it a little heavier. Don't be afraid of blush. I feel like blush is so important. I say this every time. I also apply it to my nose, if you couldn't tell what I'm doing, but I do apply it to my nose just to give it like a cute look. And then sometimes my chin a little bit and up here to give like a little sun-kissed look. But don't be afraid of blush because it's so important and it helps you look alive, and I feel like a lot of people are afraid of it, but don't be, because it's good for you. And that is it for my face. So at the end I'll set everything, but right now we're gonna go back to the eyes, and I'm gonna go in with the butter bronzer that I used for eyeshadow. I'm gonna take an eyeshadow brush, a small like kind of flat eyeshadow brush. This one is from Morphe. This is the M433 brush. I just like this one because I feel like it fits nice below my lash line. And I'm going to take some of that bronzer and just lightly go along my lower lash line just to kind of contour my lower lash line, add a little bit of depth, connect or kind of like finish the look, you know what I mean? If you like the way the eye looks without doing this on the lower lash line, then you could skip this step. I just feel like it completes the eye look. So I do like to just apply that really soft, you know, it's a subtle difference. Can you see? I have eyeshadow on the lower lash line here, none on this side. It's a very subtle difference, so I don't know. I just like to do it. I feel like it completes the look. And the reason I wait to do this after I've done my face instead of doing it like at the same time I do my eyeshadow is because now I have my concealer and foundation and stuff on. So to me, it just makes sense. Instead of trying to like work your concealer around your eyeshadow, I just feel like this makes more sense. But anyways, and then to finish the eye look, because we're still not done with the eyes, believe it or not, I'm going to go in with some mascara. This is the Benefit Cosmetics Roller Lash Mascara. It's my favorite mascara. The formula is really good and I love the brush or the spoolie, whatever. And I like to give my false lashes a nice coat. I just had a PTSD moment because last time I did my makeup, I accidentally poked my eye with this mascara and it hurt so bad. It like scratched my eyeball because I wasn't being careful. But I do like to give my lashes a nice little coat of mascara, especially these ones in the front that don't have the lash strip. I just feel like it helps blend my natural lashes with the lash strip, and it just gives a little bit of drama, not too much, but it just kind of beefs them up a tiny bit. And this is my eye with mascara, and then this one doesn't have any. I do feel like it makes a difference, just kind of defines those lashes a little bit. We're almost done. I'm so excited. Okay, so the last thing I do, well, almost the last thing, is lips, and this just brings the whole look together. This is my current favorite lip combo. It's kind of always changing, but this is currently what I've been doing on my lips, and I've been using this specific lip liner, the color and the brand. I've just been using this lip liner for years. This is like always a fallback, a go-to. When I was doing, when I was on the road traveling with Rockstar, a lot of the girls used the same. A lot of models that I work with also use the same exact lip pencil. I'll like bust it out to like touch up my makeup on set or when I was touring, and girls would be like, oh my god, is that the NYX Natural Lip Liner? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my god, I love that. So this one is just, it's really good. And every time I wear it, I get a lot of questions like, what are you wearing on your lips? And oftentimes I'll wear this lip liner just by itself because it's just a really perfect nude color. So anyways, I use the lip pencil and I start by overlining my lips. I always start at the bottom lip. I don't know why, it doesn't matter. But I always overline. I do have my lips done, even though I feel like lip filler dissolves so quick on my lips. Probably because I have a fast metabolism. Like, honestly, my natural lips or my lips without lip liner, like, they don't look that crazy. They don't. Do you think they look like they're not? Can you even tell they're filled? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you can't tell. So I do overline because I like to have lips that look big. And then after I overline, then I start filling in. And I pretty much fill in my whole lip with this lip pencil. I know a lot of people talk shit on overlining your lips, but if you do it right, it looks really nice. So I've overlined my lips and then I've filled them in and basically just place this pencil all over my lip. I'm kind of staying away from the center of my lip, and you'll see why in a second. But see, even this lip pencil by itself is such a pretty nude. This is the NYX lip pencil in the shade Natural. People ask me, they'll be like, what color are you wearing on your lips? And I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the NYX Natural Lip Liner. And they're like, okay, yeah, but what shade? I'm like, natural. They're like, oh, yeah, but what is it called? And I'm like, it's called Natural. The color is called Natural. So this is the Natural Lip Liner pencil from NYX. The color is called Natural. And then after I apply that lip liner, then I'm going to go in with this. This is the Stainiac from the Balm, and it's a lip stain, but you can also, what does it say? A hint of tint for cheeks and lips. So you can use this on your cheeks as a stain, which I have yet to try, but I'm sure it looks really pretty. And you can also use it on your lips and wherever else you want to use this, but I've been using it on my lips and I think it's so pretty. I apply it, I need to look in the mirror. I apply it right here in the center of my lip, kind of on the inside, look at like that. I'm just tapping it on. It looks a little intense, and then I do that and I'll like blend with my finger a little bit just to soften it, and then I go in a little bit more. My lips are a little dry in the middle, so it's gonna like grab the tint a little bit more intense, but I focus it kind of on like the inside of my lip, and it just gives me like, I feel like it gives me just a really natural like look, almost like my lips are a little chapped, almost like I was just sucking on a red popsicle. I feel like it makes them look a little more hydrated than they actually are. Almost looks like I was kind of just biting on my lip. I don't know, I just love the way it looks. I call it like the popsicle lip, and you can obviously apply more if you want more, but this is how much I apply. And then sometimes I'll apply like a clear lip gloss over and it just looks super plump and hydrated. I don't know, I just really like the way it looks, and this is my favorite lip combo right now, especially for summer. It's just so cute. And obviously you can apply more if you want it more like on the upper lip too, but this is how I like to do it. And then finally, wow, how long did this tutorial take? If you made it this far, thank you. I love you. I hope you like this video. So last but not least is I'm going to set my face with my absolute favorite setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. It's the best. I like to shake it up and then just... Don't be afraid. I know it feels wrong if you're not used to it, because it's like you're wetting all that work you just did, but just trust. It's like a protective layer, kind of like a glue, okay? It's gonna help set your face. You know when your makeup looks very fresh and like a little too fresh after you're done, like it's a little too powdery, and it always ends up looking a little better after your like natural oils kind of mix in a little bit and it sets. Well, this is gonna do that without having to like wait, you know what I mean? And it's also gonna keep it lasting literally all day. And now that I'm done, I can take these clips out. And that is it. That is how I do my everyday makeup look. This is what it looks like at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass tutorial. I hope you guys made it to the end. Thank you if you're still here and you watched all the way through. I hope you learned something. I hope that I was thorough enough in my explanation, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys, I'm exhausted. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!